Well, good evening, gang, and welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host. And to my right and to your left is, of course, the lovely Suzanne Schultz. Hello from Canvas Fine Arts and BNN-TV. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
We've missed you for the last couple of days and weeks.
And months.
I'm hoping you're feeling better.
Yeah, I'm feeling better.
Okay, good.
Yeah, everything is fine.
Okay.
Yes, you don't have to be afraid.
They put everything back where it belongs.
Exactly.
And stuff?
I hope so. Yeah.
And I want to tell you that we are coming to you live from our beautiful Studio B here at BNN-TV, and you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. We're at 617-708-3290. Dave and the great staff of BNN are in the other other room in the control room answering the phone. So if you'd like to join us, give us a call. Let us know what's going on and join in on the conversation. So Suzanne, what have you been up to? How these are beautiful summer days now.
Incredible.
Yes.
Yes.
It's been.
Once I got my air conditioning back, the heat wave broke, and it's been gorgeous.
You know, I'll bet that whole thing without the air affected you.
I think it
did. It probably gave you the heebie-jeebies or something.
Yeah, it was tough, and I was a little bit of a nomad. I had to stay in a hotel, and you know, and I work from home, so it was really a little stressful. And I tried to stay in my apartment, and one night my neighbor was banging on the door.
Get out.
Yeah, she said, "You can't stay in there," and I said, "I'm fine, I'm fine." It was really hot.
It's hot up in your place.
Yeah.
It's got to be hot.
I mean, it's hot in there in the wintertime, so it was rough, but everything is back to normal.
Good, I'm glad.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad to see you back. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're going to spend some time with us.
I'm going to spend some time,
Excellent.
yes.
That's very good news. How's Canvas Fine Arts doing these days?
Everything is great. We have a lot of exciting things going on. And
I know, I follow the Facebook. You can follow Canvas Fine Arts on Facebook/Canvas Fine Arts, right?
yes, and you can find us on Twitter as well, CFA group, and also Instagram.
You're just everywhere.
I'm all over the place.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you are, because we were talking earlier about the climb from, you know, that scary beginning. Does the scariness ever go away? I mean, do you know, you're established now. You've got friends all over the globe that are associated with you and the fine work that you and your staff do. But does that worry ever go away for you?
I think the scariness, it gets, I don't know, it wasn't as scary at the beginning.
It wasn't?
It wasn't, because, you know, you didn't, I mean, I just started a business not because I thought I wanted to start a business. I started a business because I met an artist who needed help, and it just sort of became, you know, this
blossomed from there.
Yeah, like a momentum, like it was just a force of its own.
I hadn't thought about that. There was only a few artists at the beginning, so maybe it wasn't as scary, but now you've got the whole art community in the palm of your hand, so it's, you know.
Well, yeah, it's a real business now, and real things have to go along with the real business. There's things I don't necessarily enjoy doing as much as, you know, promoting artists, but, you know, doing all that office work and, you know, the accounting end of it and the filing and all of that stuff that used to scare me, and I'm learning about the business side of it, and actually the more I learn, the more I like it, and the more empowering it is. So, you know, but that stuff wasn't anything I thought about at the beginning, and, you know, I didn't think, you know, that I would ever have to do stuff like that. So.
Well, you've progressed in a grand fashion. I mean, you've done some good, but you've also had to give up some of the things that you had planned for yourself. You had a great book that you were involved in that you were going to write now. I know that it's, whatever happened to your great book?
Oh, The Art of the Meal?
Yes.
It's still being worked on. It's definitely something that hasn't been completely tabled, but it's just been a very slow process for many reasons. The original concept was including people from all different, you know, walks of life in Boston, you know, designers, artists, as well as chefs. And we decided to really pare it down to just having people who were in the culinary or hospitality industries in the book, to just keep it simple, because we couldn't quite put a lid on it. It was like, all right,
I know some of us ended on the editing floor, you know.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Well, you're going to be, I'm going to dedicate the book to you and Janice.
Oh, sure you are. Sure.
So,
you know, you're in an amazing section of the city.
Yes.
And I don't know if you saw it lately, but they had the People's Choice or something came out where they were listing the best farmers markets and different concert areas and different art places. And SOA came out #1.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And Rosendale came out #2.
Wow.
Rosendale Village Main
We're
Street.
happening people.
We are.
Yeah.
And we were just so pleased and happy to see that. When I saw the list, I said, wow. We went past Copley, we went past Cambridge, we went past everybody. So it was really, really kind of an amazing thing for us to have happen. But SOA is a happening
amazing
place.
And my babysitter.
Yeah.
Okay, let me explain. My
Please do.
children's babysitter.
You've been gone how long?
Yeah. Who I still keep in touch with, Jessica Kelty and her mother, Karen Kelty, who's an interior designer. We've kept in touch all these years, and you know, my children adored her. She was an amazing babysitter. Now she's a lovely young woman, and they have been traveling to Istanbul, and they come back with beautiful fabrics, and they've been at the SOA market, and the quality of that market surpasses, you know, any other market that I've ever seen. So
it's more than a farmer's market. I mean, it's an artisans. There's fine art. There's all those galleries.
Yeah.
We have live music down there. We've played there several times, but it's just this sweeping, enormous thing, which has grown and grown and grown.
Yeah, the farmers market, the artisans market, the vintage market, the food trucks. The art galleries and studios. It's an exciting place to be, and this weekend I think it was probably the busiest I've ever seen it.
Well, speaking from Rosendale Village Main Streets, the cats that have been running that market down in Rosendale Square, we will come #2 to no other than, you know, because I know that they're great, but we are very, very proud of what we've done out in Rosendale as well. So it's kind of been an interesting summer so far. It's been very busy.
It's been very busy. That's great.
Well, that's, you know, speaking of that farmers, what else do you have? You have some things to announce. I know you do.
Yeah.
We have a film tonight too, right?
Yeah, we have my visit to AD 2021, which was in the spring.
Did you do it with Andrew, or was Andrew out of?
Yeah, Andrew was with me that day, and Andrew is now back from South Africa.
Good.
Yes, I missed him. He was gone for an
sure
entire
you
month.
did.
He had a great trip. He needed to recharge his batteries, and we have lots of plans.
So go to Africa.
Yeah. Well, that's where his wife is from.
That's good. There's some family ties there. That's great.
Yeah, so he just had a wonderful time.
So what's coming up? What do you got happening?
Well, there's actually an event that I just became aware of today that I wanted to talk about, and it's called Cool Globes.
Okay.
And it is to bring awareness to, you know, the things that are happening with our environment. And it was, this whole concept was founded in Chicago in 2006, and they're bringing it to Boston. And it's going to be August 15th on Thursday, and it's going to be at the Boston Common, and everybody should meet at the Brewer Fountain. And Mayor Menino is going to be there with some opening remarks.
Yeah, there'll be some dignitaries for sure there, yep.
Yeah, and the Kennedys will be there, and co-chair is our wonderful governor. So it's a really great event. I wish I could be there, but I'm going to be out in Denver.
What's going on in Denver?
Our art show out in Denver at the Denver Art Museum.
Okay.
So for my new artist, Natalina Murat-Bretman.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it's hosted by Lux Magazine.
That's
so
cool.
Isn't that super exciting?
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
So are you flying out?
I'm flying out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
so
you're winging everywhere.
So it's,
I think it's very important.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I've never been to Denver, and I hear the museum is absolutely beautiful, and I've heard from people that the curator of the museum is probably one of the best curators out there.
That's great.
So that's great. And tomorrow night we have a show at the Liberty Hotel from 6 to 8:30, and that is Conrad Abbott. And he's an amazing painter, and he lived in New York, and his work is great. And I just started representing, working with his estate and working with his art. So this will be our first show.
If I go to Facebook or canvasfinearts.com, I can get a little preview of all of this stuff that's going on?
Absolutely, yes.
I mean, that's where you go, right, to get all the info.
That's right.
You know what I'm going to do, because I know that we have a video to look at in a very short minute, but I do have to do our due diligence here. I'm really, really proud of our affiliation with Boston Main Streets. Boston Main Streets is the organization that keeps us on the air here, and we're very proud of our affiliation with them. The Main Streets program is an organization, volunteer-driven organization that helps revitalize business districts around the city. They also run those farmers markets. They do the different tastes around the city. They do an awful lot of work within the community, and it's a volunteer-driven organization. What they do is they have a committee that works with the property owners to find out what kind of demographic information they need to put the proper business down in their storefront. Once that's filled with a business, they help the business. There's another committee that works with the businesses to get their storefront to look proper and get them through all of the licensing issues with City Hall, getting their sign properly installed and looking correct and all that good stuff. And then there's the promotions committee that runs their farmers markets and concert series and all that to get people down into the business district. So we're very, very proud of our affiliation with them. Thank you very much for helping us out here. So if you do see a farmers market going on and there's someone with a Main Streets t-shirt, give them a thanks. Thank them for the work that they do for your community. They're only doing it because they love where they live. So make sure you thank them for us when you see them. The other thing I want to talk about briefly is this beautiful building that we're in. We're in BNN-TV. We're right on Washington Street. 3025 Washington Street is where these brand new beautiful studios here for BNN-TV. And you're more than welcome to come in and work out here too. I mean, this is the place where you come to do television programming. It's community access. The side you're watching right now is a little different. This is the nonprofit. Let's say you have a nonprofit that you're running and you'd like to get some of your information out. Here is the place where you'll come and do it. You'll come and you'll sit with your guests and you'll talk about your mission statement. You'll get people will be able to call in and ask questions, and this is where you get your information out. The other side is access, where you take all kinds of amazing classes in Final Cut Pro lighting, how to run these amazing cameras, how to do location shoots and all of that stuff. And then you produce your own program and you put it on TV. So if you're interested in doing some of that, please go to www.bnntv.org. Click on Janice Williams' name. She is the manager of the membership. Or Jim Atwood. Jim Atwood, I like to throw his name out there because I think that if anyone knows anything about access, it's Jim Atwood. He's been in the business forever, and he is the cat to do it. The other thing I'd like to talk about just for a second is that we get a lot of requests. You know, I saw a show of yours a couple of months ago, Glenn. I'd like to see it again. How do I get a copy of it or something of that nature? What we've done is we've started a YouTube channel, which is It's All About Arts 1. And if you go there, this show will be up tomorrow. So if you miss something tonight, if you don't catch the repeats, you can go to YouTube, It's All About Arts 1, and enjoy the programs anytime you want. They are on demand there. So that being said, I think I've said quite enough. Oh, the other thing is we're streaming live all over the world.
Exactly.
You know, hi Portland, Oregon, hi Illinois, hi New York, upstate New York. We've got people in Connecticut now. I just got an email from some people in Connecticut who had a friend on, that now they come back all the time to check out the show and see what we're doing.
Yep, they're watching us in Denver.
In Denver,
yeah.
I hope they're watching us in Denver. Hello, Denver, mile high. You know, so it's a great opportunity to come here and kind of get your thing out. Over the last 15 years, we've certainly done that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have two amazing guests on this evening.
We're very, very proud of it. We got some amazing painters in the building, and we're going to go to them in just a couple of minutes. But we do have to go. We have a great video that we're going to promote. Not promote. What is it about?
Well, Tony Fusco does two events. Well, he does a lot of things in Boston every year. So this is called AD 2021. And it's at the Cyclorama every spring. So a bunch of different galleries come, and we chose a few to interview.
AD?
AD.
Okay.
Yeah, AD 2021.
Okay.
So,
and this is you guys went and interviewed some people and got some shots of what it's all about?
Yes.
Okay, well then why don't we listen, gang? Sit back and relax. You're going to enjoy this. We'll be back with our first guest. Will we come back with the guest? Do we have any more to talk about? Or?
No, we have photographer Garry Harley and painter Diana Nicosia here this evening, and they will be sharing their beautiful artwork with us.
They will.
Yes.
Very excited about that. So listen, gang, sit back and relax. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Why don't you check out this video that great Suzanne Schultz and Andrew Swain put together for us. We're very, very appreciative of the stuff they're bringing outside in to the studio, and I think that that's really fabulous. You're watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams. I'm your host. And to my right, to your left, is Suzanne Schultz. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, gang. Do not go away. Thank you.
Hi. And we at AD 2021 again, just repeating that. And they're a new gallery in the South End. Hello, Adam. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How's everything going here at the show?
Things are going great. They had about over 600 people last night, great crowd, and we had some interest in some things, and it's been fun so far. This is my first art fair.
Well, congratulations on that. So you're new in the South End, so how's it been going there?
It's going great. We're just wrapping up our third exhibition, and we're getting ready for Harry Bertoia Monotypes and Sculpture, opening April 5th. And I'm getting accustomed to it. It's a lot of fun.
That's amazing. Yeah, I was really excited to see you popping up in the South End, and I'm looking forward to going into your gallery. So give us your website and tell us the dates of your next show.
Sure. Our website is www.adelsongalleriesboston.com, and the next show, Harry Bertoia Monotypes and Sculpture, opens Friday, April 5th, which is the first Friday, and will hang through May 12th, Sunday, May 12th.
Excellent. Well, good luck with the show, and we look forward to hearing more about Adelson Galleries. I'm sure you're going to take over the city.
Thanks, Suzanne.
Hi, we're here with Mark Davis, and we're standing in front of his amazing artwork. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Hi. How are you, Suzanne?
Very good. So you're from Roslindale. How exciting is that?
I bought a house 15 years ago and just sort of live in the first floor. The second and third floor are all workshop. I took out all the walls and doors and just have big open spaces.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about the work we're seeing behind us.
I do all mobiles. Everything it's all about the movement. So you've got this is probably hard to get on your camera, but this piece swoops up. It hangs from one string, so it's a more of a traditional mobile. Whereas pieces like this over here are standing pieces. Now it's all about having a base, a stable piece, and then having these pieces rotate around it. Now it's very engineered and usually deceptively looks simple. It's supposed to look simple, but it's quite a bit of engineering to it. And this is very, very light aluminum, whereas this is very heavy brass. So that gives us a lot of movement with the light pieces, and then that's airbrush painted. And then I do all these wall pieces, which are, again, the same idea. They don't move as much, but still they have my signature of that they do move, that there's a lot of layers coming out from the wall. They're mounted to the wall, so it's sort of an alternative to a painting or something traditional.
So how long have you been doing this type of work?
All my life.
That's what all the artists say, all my life.
But 20 years professionally.
Excellent. No, it's beautiful work, and I love your use of color. And where can we find you on the internet?
MarkDavisMobiles.com.
Wonderful. I hope you have an amazing weekend. This is a great show, and it's so lovely to meet you.
Thanks very much, Suzanne.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, we're here with Nikki Solomon, and we are again at AD 2021. And hello, Nikki. How are you tonight?
I'm very good, thank you.
How's everything going?
It's a great show, and I think it's the perfect venue for people to come out and show their good work.
So tell us a little bit about the work that we're seeing behind us here.
Well, I've been collecting work for about 35 years and selling it for about 34. I've got a nice collection of work, and what we're looking at straight ahead is actually Klimts. There are colotypes that were created in 1919 with Klimt in 1918. And we've got a contemporary work that's a very large one by Christopher Chippendale, to John Devaney, who might be well known in Massachusetts, to some work from California as well. Gary Bukovnic's extremely well known out in the field, and people who don't know him will and should know him. So for me, I have a philosophy in buying and selling art, is that I buy it if I love it. It actually doesn't have to have a name or any attributes to it. If I get it, that's enough. And I hope that people who come to the shows and are buying art are buying for that reason for themselves. If they don't love it, if they're just trying to fill a space, it's not as fulfilling as it could be. If it's good, I know it. If it's good enough and I can afford it, I will buy it. If people were to approach art in that manner, and people know a lot more about art and how they feel about it than they might have talked about before. But if they go with their heart, and they're also willing to get some education, we can talk about the historical value of pieces, then I think it's really opening up everybody's opportunity at any level to start a collection.
I agree. I mean, my whole philosophy has been, you go into a restaurant, you don't have a culinary degree, but yet you can order off a menu. So why is everybody so afraid of art? And it's just like she said, you need to just approach it in the way that you love it, you want it, and it doesn't matter if it's listed anywhere, and find somebody like Nikki to explain it all to you. So where can we find you on the internet?
NikkiSolomonFineArt.com. Nikki is 2 I's, Solomon is 3 O's, and I'm happy to respond.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, and we wish you the best this weekend.
Thank you, Susanna.
Thank you. Hi, I'm here with Allie and Chris. Hello, Allie. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. And Chris, how are you?
Good, good, thanks.
So tell us why you're here and tell us about, your galleries.
We are both two Boston art dealers, and we're here at AD 2021 to be a part of the art, the culture, the design element in Boston. And it's a fair that's in a fabulous location. Obviously, we love Tony and Rob. They do a great job with producing AD 2021, the Ellis Antique Show, and the Boston International Fine Art Show. And Chris and I are lucky enough to work with some fantastic living painters, and I have them represented here in my booth through Sloan Merrill Gallery, and Chris has some fantastic work at his gallery.
Our gallery is on Newbury Street. Hers is on in Beacon Hill, Charles Street.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, we work well together, and a lot of dealers have that sort of interaction and able to work well, and a lot of times we overlap collectors and work with the same artists, so
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
We have similar aesthetics in what we enjoy, and we also, I think I can go out on a limb and say that, we want artists who are living, breathing, we can speak with, we can actually interact with, we can see how they work, see their processes, and also they come from a technical background, they're extremely well traditionally trained, and produce beautiful work. And so, I love seeing what Chris has at his booth and interacting with him. And
Likewise.
yeah, it goes our booth here and Chris's booth right over there.
Excellent. So where are you on Newbury Street, and what is your website?
We're 38 Newbury Street, and this website we have two different businesses, two different galleries. This is Art Resource Boston, so it's artresourceboston.com.
Excellent. And you?
We're Sloan Merrill Gallery at 75 Charles Street, and it's sloanmerrillgallery.com.
Excellent. And I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and thank you so much for talking to us at BNN.
Yeah.
Hi, we're here with Norman Mainville from Machine Age. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
So tell us about your business.
Well, we specialize in mid-20th century furniture. I'll design your furniture from 1920s to the 80s, all the classic. And what we do is we refurbish vintage pieces and bring them back to life today to be reused again.
Oh my God, that's amazing. So where are you located?
We're at 645 Summer Street in the waterfront near the Design Center, on the other side of Summer Street.
Wonderful. And tell us what we're looking at here. Tell us about this table.
Well, this table is from Vladimir Kagan, 1970s, and it's olive burr wood, and we get it refinished, so it looks like brand new again. Quite a rare piece. It usually was custom made by Kagan, who is still alive in New York, and this is a pretty unique piece. It's hard to find that.
It's absolutely beautiful. Well, I hope you have a great weekend here. This is a great show, and thank you so much for letting us come and talk to you. And is there a website people can see you at?
Yes, it's machine-age.com. So machine-age.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks an awful lot, gang, for hanging in there with us. That was really, really interesting. What a great show that was. There was so much art and so many things going on that I'm glad that we were able to grab some of it and bring it to you today. But right now, it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce you to Diana Nicosia. Hello, Diana. How are you?
Hi.
Welcome to BNN.
Thank you. Thank
Did
you
you
for
find
having
this
me.
okay?
I did.
You're right down the street. You're one of those solar
I'm a
people.
South Ender.
That's great. Well, congratulations for that, I
Yes,
guess. But,
yes.
But thank you very much for coming in and spending some time with me. I really do appreciate it. You're a phenomenal artist and painter. But I like to ask people if you had to put a hook on it, if you had to name the kind of artist besides great that you are, what kind of moniker would you put on it?
I would say oil, representational, and landscapes primarily.
Okay.
High keyed.
High keyed? Okay, that's nice. Do you work in any particular size?
20 by 20 up to 48 by 60 inches.
So you got some nice size pieces.
Yeah.
Oil, has it always been oil? Your medium?
After school, I chose oil,
Yeah.
and I love doing oil, but I recently started doing encaustics based on a very antique Roman botanical fresco.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about that oil, what goes into being an oil fine artist. Are you working in layers? Are you mixing on canvas, or are you?
I mix on the palette.
Yeah.
And then I sketch beforehand a little. I divide the canvas up, and then I sketch loosely in charcoal. And then I brush the charcoal off, and then I start painting. But I mix the painting the paint on the palette.
Okay. And are you layering in anything, or I mean, obviously with oil paints, there's that ability to do that.
Right, and you can also adjust with it before it dries. But I would say it's the Boston School of Realism, so it's more drawing, and then an emphasis on drawing, and then the colors.
Do you work on location, or do you work from photography?
I trained in location. I do as much as I can on location, but I've also been invited into war zones. So
Yeah, you've got an incredible resume of places in the world where you have worked. I mean, you've been invited to in Rome. You're doing things for. What are you doing in Rome? That's
Well,
amazing.
I was invited to paint in the Vatican Gardens, in the private
amazing.
gardens of the Pope.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and now I'm doing the Roman frescoes.
Right,
And
right.
then I think it's been a wonderful opportunity to do portraits of a country.
Yeah.
Because then I learn. So I try to learn as much as I can about the country.
Yeah.
To then do an in-depth series about it.
Right. Do you work on several pieces at a time?
Yes.
I mean, being an
Yes.
oil painter, I suppose you do
Yes.
have to let things set.
Yes. It's almost curing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, do you set up your space? Do you have a dedicated space? Yes.
Yes.
Is there an environment that you set for yourself, depending on the pieces that you're working on? I mean, is Mozart playing for
music.
one setting, or
Yes.
is the window open and the traffic racing by? I mean, is there anything in particular that you do to make yourself feel creative?
I love to listen to music,
Yeah.
and it can be French New Wave to classical. Depends on what I feel like listening
French
to.
New Wave. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and I like to have it pretty quiet so I can listen to the music and paint, and so I don't like a lot of noise.
Right.
And it is quiet where I live.
But it's a dedicated space. It's not.
Yes.
When you back out of there, when you come back in,
It's
it's
there.
there.
It's all.
Right.
And I have huge easels, huge.
Yeah.
Working.
Now, are you the kind of dedicated artist? I know you're dedicated, but I mean, where you can say, I have to get this done by Thursday. I'm working tonight.
I used to work at night.
Yeah.
As long as through the night, I'd be fine and paint in the morning too.
Yeah.
But I find that I do need my sleep. It's
Yeah.
been quite a few years that I've been painting.
Yeah.
And but I do. I have always met a deadline for any show, or I used to paint for hotels and institutional just to pay the rent. And it was a great learning process on that. But I've always made the deadline for any show or
Let's talk a couple of minutes about the fresco thing and the encaustic thing. Explain that a little bit to me. What is encaustic painting?
It's working with wax mixed into the oil paint.
Okay.
And I'm using the cold wax instead of melting it.
Okay.
It's because it's a little easier for me to use than the boiling wax. But you mix it, and I'm doing layers, so it looks almost as, and I'm scraping. So I will start with a realistic painting, or get it there. And then I start scraping it and keeping, so it's really relies on a tight composition.
Yeah.
And I trained a lot in French, in Japanese woodblock prints.
Okay.
So it has
you
that
understand
tension.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really fascinating. It's an amazing. I've seen it done, and I'm jealous of it. I'm a thrower. You know,
yeah, this is
with a knife and stuff.
yeah.
You're just so disciplined
Yeah.
in the approach that
There
you
is a palette knife involved
Yeah, I'm
too,
sure.
along with brushes.
Well, when you're scraping down, I'm
Yeah.
sure
Right,
you're
right, right.
making- you need
Right.
to do something. You said you're sketching out with charcoal and brushing it down and then painting. Do you know where you're going when you start?
I have the whole painting in my head.
Yeah, you do.
Vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's less a journey to who knows where, to a journey to a successful
Yeah.
accomplishment.
Unfortunately, your eye is always ahead of your hand.
Yeah.
And you just need to know when the painting is finished.
Yeah.
And then,
Are you at the point where you can kind of be driving along the Kangamangas Highway in New Hampshire or something and find a spot and want to be able to do that?
yes.
Yeah, you're picking your spots now.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, it is.
And then if I'm invited somewhere to paint, I study it beforehand.
Yeah.
So I try to have a better
You had a great
knowledge.
garden to paint.
My,
One of the greatest artists in the world. You got to sit and,
yes.
and
Oh,
paint.
I
and-
know. That was 2,000 years of stewardship of art,
Yeah.
and the garden existed, or the site existed, before the St. Peter's was there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it was
amazing.
a wonderful, wonderful experience.
You know, I want to look at. We have to look at some of your work.
Oh, thank you.
And can you please walk us gingerly through it, please? What have we here?
This is Vanishing Paradise, and I was invited by the Brazilian government to work in the Amazon with some scientists. So I did a sketchbook, and I did tape recordings of the experience, but this is a finished painting from my studio, because again, this is large. It's 60 by 50 something. So,
Okay.
so I love painting trees, so that was an example.
Okay.
And this is called Oil Fires of Kuwait. And I was invited by the Kuwaitis. I had a show of the Brazilian paintings in London. I had to leave Boston to be discovered. And when I was having a show of my Brazilian paintings, the Kuwaitis were there. They were occupied. And it was during the time.
Saddam was in there at the time.
Yes. So a lot of the Kuwaitis were in London. And I had sold a series of paintings to Petronil,
Yeah.
which is a Kuwaiti, a Saudi company. But I had my Brazilian show there, and they said, we'd like to invite you to Kuwait for the final when the oil fires are ending.
So this was on location. You're sitting there.
Well, I did photography.
And get out of there.
The fire, yeah.
I can't
But
see your plein air painting sitting there. That could
Yeah.
be tough.
Yeah, but I was on the Bergen oil fields on Christmas Day one year when they was all smoking away.
Yeah. That's
But
amazing.
and then this is from the Vatican Gardens with St. Peter's in the back, and that was I have always been moved by that experience.
Yeah.
And the Italian government gave me the Terzo Millennio Award for it.
It's literally a religious experience, isn't it?
Spiritual.
Spiritual,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep. And this is a very early painting from the 80s. I was invited to paint at Giverny at Claude Monet's home, and that was his first studio at Giverny. So that's the example of the layering, too. So that's American Impressionism.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as an artist, did you find yourself sitting there going, I can't believe where I am and what I'm painting?
I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm at Monet's home. And how can I paint? It was unbelievable. And those were the flowers.
Yeah, it must liken to be the bass player in Paul McCartney's
right.
band or something, you know?
It was unbelievable.
That's amazing, and it's beautiful.
Thank you. And this is called Carnival, and I'm doing a series of Venice at night, and this is St. Mark's Square.
That's great.
And it's fun.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
It's got to be rewarding as an artist to be recognized, not only for your work and your stuff, but for the accomplishments of being able to find yourself in some of these remarkable locations. Congratulations on that. That's a very amazing, and I'm honored to have you here, sitting here with us talking about it. I have a really nice garden, you know.
Oh.
You cannot paint my garden.
Oh, well, I'm sure it's beautiful. I have a little tiny garden myself.
Do you sit out in your yard?
Yes, I do, and I love it. And it's nice and quiet. We have a lot of trees, not in my yard, but in the neighborhood. So I appreciate that.
Can I ask, in the couple of minutes we have left, what's on the horizon? Is there anything coming up we need to know about?
Well, I have the launch of the encaustic paintings,
Yeah.
which will be in January at Janice Aldridge in Palm Beach.
Oh, down to Florida, okay.
And the Italian Cultural Institute is writing a text, and there'll be a catalog published to go along with the opening.
Let us know so we can
Thank you.
make sure that
Thank
we
you.
let all our friends know about
Love to
that.
have you there.
I would love to be there.
Okay.
Diana, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming in. And like I said, you know, the invitation is yours
Thank
to
you.
come back
Thank
anytime you want.
You're very kind to have me.
No,
and I
no,
appreciate
please, please. Thank you so
Okay,
much for
thanks.
coming.
Okay.
Listen, gang. We're only halfway done. Listen, gang, sit back and relax. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Old friend Gary's going to come up here and we're going to talk about some more art. So listen, gang, you are watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. We're coming to you live from Studio B. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Please do not go away. Thank you.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Well, thanks an awful lot for hanging in there with us. Gang, you are watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, your host, and I want to remind everybody that you can get this show anytime you want after tomorrow afternoon. It'll be on YouTube's It's All About Arts 1. So if there's anybody you want to share this show with, please feel free to give them a jingle and let them know that address. Become, subscribe to us because we're putting something up new all the time. So thanks an awful lot. And right now it's my great pleasure to welcome back good old friend. It's good to see you back with us, Garry Harley. Hello, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Garry,
Thanks.
what's new? How's everything?
Just fine, thank you.
That's great. How's art going nowadays?
Well, I do three things.
I
I'm
know
an
you're-
architect.
You're one of the guys I can't say. So what is the category we put you under?
Exactly.
Can't do that. But you were in as a photographer not too long ago. Fabulous work.
About a year and a half ago when I had my first show at Marcus.
Yeah, you got another one coming up now.
Got another one there right now.
Yeah.
So we're in to talk about that tonight.
Yes, and it's painting.
It's painting. The first show was photography, and I have some photography hanging right now in West Concord.
Mm-hmm.
But this is more a graphic optic art type of category that I spend a lot of time on also.
What's the medium that you're using?
These are produced in the computer,
Okay,
and then they're printed on canvas or paper.
okay.
And the first image was accepted into the Stanford Art Association's National Color Award show last year, which kind of
Congratulations.
urged me on, right?
That'll get you started. That'll swear.
And the curator for that show was serves as the assistant curator at the Metropolitan Museum in New York
That's great.
at the Department of Contemporary and Modern Art. So that was a good supporting moment.
No, Gary, you deserve all of the accolades you're getting. I mean, anybody that's recognizes your work knows that you're right in there and doing some phenomenally great things.
So you may remember I'm a member of Canvas Fine Arts.
Canvas Fine Arts. Canvas Fine
What
Arts.
is that?
Canvas Fine Arts. Yes, you are. And how's that experience been? That's been pretty good for you, huh?
It's my second year.
That's great.
And I've learned a lot from not only Suzanne, but the members of the group.
Yeah, I think the kibitzing amongst artists must be phenomenal because the level of artists that are involved in there, you're talking with your peers and they're all, right up there in their field.
Exactly.
So that can only help. What's your procedure when you're working on this? Are you working out of? I'm going to just throw it out there. Are you working out of Photoshop on a big Mac someplace, or what are you doing?
I do use Mac,
Yeah.
iMac, and Apple computer.
Mm-hmm.
Use 2 or 3 different software programs. I work erratically. So I'll work for 10, 12 hours, produce a lot of images, and then the most difficult step really is self-editing,
Yeah.
going through and deciding what's really valid content.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's got to be a little different than what like Diana's doing because she can see an end. How do you know when you're finished?
Yes.
How do you know when you're done? I say, that's the biggest problem that I think a lot of artists have.
Yeah. When you do a show, you need to be disciplined and pull it together in a way that makes makes some sense.
How many pieces are going to be
There's
on the third
8.
floor?
There's 8 pieces on
8
the
pieces.
third floor.
That's great.
This is at Neiman Marcus
Yeah. Right in Copley.
in Copley Center,
Yeah.
downtown Boston.
Beautiful.
And that's the floor where the women's high-end fashion is. So Amati,
So it fits right in, do you think?
all of that, yes.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I've noticed about Suzanne. She's really, really keen on being able to place the art in the right environment. And I think it must help Neiman Marcus as well because it must help, it accentuates, it helps out on each side.
Well, we certainly hope so.
That is the name of the game after all, right? Well, why don't we bring up some of these pieces and check them out?
Sure.
And walk us through. I think you're going to be surprised. It's a little different.
This first image just reminds people that it is at Neiman Marcus, downtown Boston. So we can go right to the second image, I think. And this is one of the pieces called Yellow Cliffs of Dover. Oh. And we've used it for a poster and used it to advertise the show. The next image is the image I'm using on a blog that I've just begun to publish.
Well, that's great. Is that the address there?
It is.
For people, if they want to jump in?
They can jump in and hit the blog button. And the first post is a pretty good review of the work that I've built this show off of that goes all the way back into the 1960s and the op art and the op art revival school.
Oh, I like this.
This happens to be the image I just referred to a few minutes ago that was accepted into the Stanford Art Association show.
That's color is color. That's
And
beautiful.
That was funded and is in memorial to Faber Burden, who was a publisher, a book writer, a teacher. And so I was very pleased to be accepted into that show. This is called Red Cube Gold Frame. This one is a much cooler palette.
Is that moving?
It's it's called op-art because it does move. It may be just a bit out of focus, as it appears to me. But this, let's go on to the second image, maybe. That one appears a little out of focus, too. This is built around the...
Well, these are all hanging at Neiman Marcus, right?
They
So
can
if
go
you
see
wa-
them.
If you want to see what
And
they
they'll be in
really look
focus
like, it'll be
there.
in focus. I think that's the answer.
And this one is disciplined by using what's called the divine section, or the golden section, golden rectangle.
Yep.
Let's go on to the next one.
Oh, this is nice.
This one we have taken the form and removed some of the color, and we feel that aids in the perspective and the optic illusion of the piece.
Cool.
And again, these are like 36 by 36, so
Yeah.
it's archivable ink on canvas.
Well, Guichely, right?
Sorry?
Well, Guichely. What's it called when you do it on canvas?
Yeah, that's the,
yeah, yep.
the French word.
Yep.
And then the last
Well, this
image
is fun.
is, if you fixate on the middle, people tell me that if they stare at the black in the center, that you know, the image will pulsate.
I see it. I can see it. You're bringing me back to the 70s now, you know.
Exactly.
We're waiting for those.
There was a great show at the Museum of Modern Art in New York in '65, I think it was, called The Responsive Eye.
Yeah.
And the art in that show then flowed into a lot of the Madison Avenue art directors, into, you know, home decor, fashion, so forth.
As a photographer and an architect, right? Does one ever kind of bleed into the other?
Yes, it does for me anyway.
Yeah. Because I almost see some of these as maybe framing out some photography, or you know, or I don't know if I'd be adding it. Well, you know what I'm talking about?
I do, and I think part of the answer is you use a different part of your brain for architecture than you do for you know, this endeavor. Architecture is a very demanding exercise where you've got structural concerns, you've got mechanical concerns.
You've got a lot of directions to follow.
You've got a lot of practical, physical forces to resolve, and then to bring art and science together. This is a little freer, but this particular flavor of my work is much more disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
You may remember the photography is very interpretive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I lay in color and so forth. So
Yeah, you play with that as well. You play with the image, the digital image.
Correct.
You're living in a digital world now, right, Gary? You have to step up and play.
You remember last time we talked about the difficulty of converting over.
Both of us were kicking and screaming into it, but
Exactly.
that's okay. You know, but we're here now, and I think that it's an amazing medium, and there's just so many things that you can do. I have a tablet at home that I am able to kind of push things around with, and so I get that feeling of that drawing feeling. I'm not scratch, no, you know.
Who does the covers for your albums?
Tim Casey. He's remarkable. He's the music. Him and I have been playing music since the 1979.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And he's always been the guy who is like, you know, what do you think of this artwork? And I'm always saying, is the bass in tune, Tim? That's what I'm concerned about right now. And he takes off on that. Yeah, he does some incredible stuff.
You mentioned the 70s. A lot of the great bands had really good covers
Yeah.
done by good artists.
Yeah, you had an album to hold in your hands back then. Now you're just downloading something from iTunes, and you're really missing out on all of that other good stuff. When it's time for you, Gary, to relax and do some artwork, which do you kind of find that relaxes you and settles you down a little bit?
I like to travel.
You like to travel?
The other artist you hit on talked about Italy. You know,
Yeah.
I traveled to Italy a lot.
Did you have your point and shoot with you when you went there?
I absolutely did. So that's the answer. I love to travel.
You love to travel, but you'll combine the art with it.
Yes.
You know, and I always find it fascinating, especially for photographers. You use the digital thing, you use Corel or Photoshop to do some of the work. Will we see any of this melding in with it?
This is actually, that's an interesting question. This is really a result of a show I had at Thomas Mosler cabinet there. Showroom there.
Right around the corner.
Around the corner, across from the garden, where I had taken layers of color like this and applied them over photography.
Right.
And done some manipulation in Photoshop. And Suzanne was good in lining up a gallery owner to come in and give me a critique.
Yep.
And he really recommended that I pull it back into a much tighter form. And so I picked up on work from Joseph Albert and others of the op art period. His series, particularly Homage to the Square. And these are, a push beyond that. It uses the same color theory, but tries to find new work.
So are you actively keeping Peter and Paul separate?
You do one or the other.
Okay. No, that's
and I go through
question.
periods where I'll do all of the, much of the photography and then come back to this work.
Well, that's great. How long are you going to be hanging up at Neiman Marcus?
I think we got extended through the end of September.
They're going to right straight through. That's awesome. That's phenomenal. That's great. And what else is in the future? Anything?
Always looking for places to hang.
You will not be looking. You don't look very long, I'm sure. I mean,
so we appreciate coming in and talking to you.
No, anytime. I mean, we have. Let's not make it so long. Let's make sure we get you back in here when there's some new things going on. I always appreciate guys that are thinking outside the box and kind of doing interesting, cool things. What website can we go to?
It's www.Garry with 2 R's, dash Harley, just like the motorcycle, dash studios.com. And
we can go there to share some images. And I'm going to do the same thing with yours, Diane. I'm going to link up your website so all you got to do is go to It's All About Arts and go to the schedule and click on your name, and it'll go right to what we're doing. And Garry.
Great support.
It's always a pleasure having you guys here. Thank you very much for coming in. Listen, gang, thank you very much for being here with us tonight. This was a lot of fun. I want to remind everybody that this weekend down in Rosendale Square, this great band, the Spinners, will be playing at the Farmers Market down there in Rosendale Square, 11 o'clock till 1:30. Come on down. I'm running sound. Make sure you come over and say hello. It's always a pleasure to meet everybody and say howdy. And also, if you go to YouTube, It's All About Arts 1. I don't know how I got that one. It's All About Arts 1. That'll get you to be able to check out some of our shows, and especially this one. This one will be up in a day or so. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Listen, gang, get out there and do something artful for yourself. And like I like to say every week, please keep in the forefront of your minds our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Please do something artful. Make sure you do it for them. And we'll see you next week. Take care now. Be safe. Bye-bye.